The Faceoff Sports Network presents the Fantasy Football Faceoff. Get ready for fantasy, DFS, and betting talk to get you in the game. If you want to win, you have to tune in. With Anthony Servino, Matt McKay, and Steve D'Angelo. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Face-Off.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Faceoff Sports Network. I'm your host, Anthony Servino. Follow me on Twitter at The Real NFL Guru. Follow the show at the FF Faceoff and at fffaceoff.com. We can be found at all the top social media and podcast platforms. Back with me on a live draft football Friday here at the Faceoff Sports Network. Pete Nova at Supernova38, Matt McKay at Matt_McKay_ on Twitter, and Steve D'Angelo at Fantasy Savvy. Guys, what's going on? Happy to be drafting. Memorial Day's coming up, and we'll hit June, OTAs, then training camp.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? Back, good to be back. Another puppy on the board here. We'll get into it soon. We got a little bit of NFL news, but nice feeling. I was looking at a draft board last night and just like studying the draft board on YouTube, and I just saw so much value right now. So I'm getting excited.
Don't get too excited. To be back with you guys on
I'm excited.
Feel Good Friday. Yeah, this should be a good one. It's been a while since we've done one of these drafts, so ready to get into it.
Yeah, I promise me and Anthony didn't mean to match here. We did a little wardrobe change and came back to camera, and we both happened to have similar kind of style shirts. But yeah, I'm excited to talk Underdog Best Ball here. I wanted to talk a little bit of strategy too, and we'll talk a little bit more as we get closer to the draft here. We'll talk a little NFL news. Anthony's got a couple topics he wants to talk about, but I'm ready to jump in.
All right, so how do you want to do this? When do you want to jump into the draft room? Pete, you're usually the countdown guy.
Well, it's 6:08 now. Why don't we we'll say 6:14. That gives us about 5 minutes to talk news, gives the followers a chance to come in and jump in as well with us. So we'll do 6:14. We'll do the puppy draft, which is the $5 draft on the Underdog Best Ball tournament. We'll all click at the same time. And as we get closer to a minute out, I'll make sure to notify and make sure we're all aware and ready to go.
So let's get into some of that news. We're going to start with TJ Hockenson. TJ Hockenson told reporters that he doesn't really put a timeline on his return from last year's season-ending knee injury. Week 16, it was a late injury for Hockenson. So it's not like it was mid-season or early season where we can anticipate, hey, it's an ACL. He'll be good to go for week 1. This is a situation where maybe Hockenson opens the year on a PUP list. Maybe he opens the year on IR, which means he could potentially miss some time. So how do we, look at Hockenson going into this fantasy draft season where his ADP is obviously not where it would be? People are afraid to draft TJ Hockenson, as they should be. But if you are drafting TJ Hockenson and he happens to play more games than anticipated, then you're falling into a good situation.
Yeah, I think I mentioned on one of the previous shows, I'm still bullish on Hockenson. Obviously, it's all predicated on where he winds up falling in the draft. And based on where he's sitting right now, tight end 13. So you can get him as a tight end too. To me, I think it's pretty solid. I already went through the reasonings why I think he's not going to have as big of a downward trend with McCarthy, just because, yeah, you got Jefferson, yeah, you got Addison, but Hockenson is such a friendly target for a rookie passer like JJ McCarthy. So even if it is Sam Darnold, he's not a world beater. So having that nice safety valve in the middle of the field will pay dividends once Hockenson gets back onto the field. But Steve mentioned off air, the Vikings just signed Bob Tonyan from the Packers. So preparing for life without Hockenson, obviously the first couple months of the season at least. But, a lot of people like to punt tight end. So if you get like a Ferguson or a Njoku later on in the draft, and you can maybe just go the 1-2 punch and get Hockenson on the turn and have that in your arsenal for when he does get cleared to return. Because as you said, Anthony, if you do wind up with Hockenson on your roster, that'll be a nice spot to be in, assuming he's back for at least, you would hope, 6 games of the fantasy season. But yeah, to me, Hockenson, I'm not worried about the injury and how he's going to look after it. It just sucks, like you said, that it happened so late in this season.
Steve?
Yeah, it's I mean, Hawkinson's such a good player. And what was he going? 3rd overall? I mean, at tight end last year. Now it's 13. I see him going in like the 11th, 12th round. So it's a crazy value, but is he going to be ready for the season? How's Sam Darnold or McCarthy going to fare throwing him the football? How's that offense going to look with no more Kirk Cousins? So there is some questions, but the value right now for a player of his caliber, and you could also argue, maybe a tight end comes back a little bit better from a ACL, knee injury that Hockenson occurred. I mean, I remember like Logan Thomas. He's not the same player. Hockenson is obviously a little more athletic, but Logan Thomas, I mean, he came back with that huge ass knee brace. He put up some decent numbers. So it's not like he needs to run, 100 miles an hour like a receiver or take a bunch of hits and make a ton of cuts like a running back. So, I kind of like it, man. I mean, there's so many good tight ends now. It's insane. I mean, it's so deep. This might be the deepest ever, maybe, for the tight end room. There's just so much quality out there at tight end, mostly due to the explosion of the rookies last year coming on the scene. So, yeah, I like the value. I mean, you could get him in 11th, 12th round. You could even take a tight end earlier. I want to see Anthony. Do you know where he's going? I'm looking at the NFC. Do you know where he's going in FFPC right now?
You're muted here, Anthony. Before you answer, we're at 6:13. We're about the halfway mark. So why don't we just want to give you guys a friendly reminder here before we keep going that we're going to jump in at 6:14 here. So just get ready to enter. So we all get in the same one. Can you hear Anthony?
Anthony's muted.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Should we delay the entry in the draft?
Yeah,
Hang
yeah.
on.
Delay it to like.
You still can't hear you, Anthony.
Give it a couple minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yeah,
there we
we
go.
can hear you
How
now.
long have I been muted for?
Just about 30
A
seconds.
minute, maybe.
Yeah.
I was talking, and then I asked you a question, and then you were talking with your mouth
okay.
open. And
That's
nothing
weird.
happened.
Okay.
Well, we're 6:14 now. Why don't we just go ahead and just say the word, and we'll jump in.
Ready to do it.
All right, you
Ready to go?
Anthony? You guys good? Steve?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
3
All
more.
right. There we go.
Two more.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This
All right.
might have
All
All
worked.
right, we all got in. Hopefully, we got a couple listeners too. I mean, it's a packed bus. Everybody got to get on sooner, or else you got to get the hell off and go into another draft, like me last week with
Packed bus.
Jamie. But Anthony, I was asking you, do you know where Hockenson is going in FFPC right now?
I'm going to look.
Because I mean, it's just an insane value. So I was going to say you could take a tight end earlier and then wait on Hockenson, take him later, and get the value.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Oh, wait. Hoff's in here, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's you, Hoff, me,
All right.
2 spaces, and then Steve. Matt, what's your name?
Pink Mac.
Okay, so Matt's all the way in the front of the draft. All right, so this is going
Is
to be
the
taking
board
skill.
up?
Yeah.
Board
it's
is up. You got 1-7. I got Hoff's got 1-8. I
Wow.
got 1-9. Steve's got 1-12. Matt's got 1-3.
Pete, if you click that checkered
good.
box, it'll blow up the whole board.
Oh shit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I cannot find the ADP. This is odd. Let's see.
Well,
I'm seeing 79th overall pick, Steve, in the FFPC.
Okay.
And you got to
Yeah.
remember, this is that's a tight
Yeah,
end
tight end
premium
premium.
league, and
Yeah.
that's between the dates of March 5th or May 10th to
Right.
May 17th.
So like 7th round.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
pretty solid.
So I just wanted to ask you guys. So Matt's going to be up here third, but I wanted to ask you guys your opinion, and then I want to give my theory while Matt takes his pick here. But do you guys draft any different from a 12 team compared to tournament style? Do you guys have a different approach to your draft depending on which one you're doing?
I mean, best ball compared to the tournament?
Yeah, best ball. Well, both are best ball, right? But in terms of like when you're drafting in Underdog and it's just a 12 man, you get in a 12 man, it's no tournament style compared to a tournament style like we're doing today. Do you guys approach it any differently? Do you draft players differently with that? What's your strategy? Or do you not change? Is it the same for both?
Yeah, it's kind of the same because you're still looking to win within that league. So, I mean, it's somewhat similar. I mean, I guess you would take a couple more shots in a tournament. You know, you chase a little bit more upside. You play it a little less safe, obviously.
Yeah. Anthony?
I do, depending on the format. Obviously, FFPC, I do draft differently because it is a, tight end premium league. But generally, like if I'm in a redraft league, no tournament involved, I tend to be a little bit more conservative and I chase high floors for the most part. But majority of things I play are these tournaments, so I try to get a good mix of floor and ceiling, mostly ceiling.
Okay, you're on the clock here, by the way.
Pete, I was going to say,
right.
if you click that little checkerboard,
you got Anthony's sharing here.
Oh, okay. Anthony, you could click that little checkerboard and blow up the whole board.
What checkerboard?
He's talking about right next to there. Yeah.
There
Okay.
That's better. Either one. Whatever you think.
Yeah, and then when I pick, I can exit out and pull it back up. So I took Brees. Happy about that at the 1.7. This is my first share of Brees Hall.
Really?
Yeah.
It's got to feel good. Ooh, Gibbies. I was eyeing up Gibbies, but I couldn't pass on Tyreek at the 103.
Yeah, this is the second time I've taken Gibbs. I did a second draft today. I just look at the cluster of running backs, and I prefer to chase upside. And I think in this cluster, he's got the highest upside with the remaining guys here in this next tier. Wide receiver, by the time it comes back to me, there's a lot of guys that I have in my same tier here, so I don't mind waiting on them to the second round. And I don't want to jinx it, but the guy I wanted to take may come back to me here. So,
yeah, and I had the 12, so at the turn, so I took Saquon and Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor with a full season of Richardson. We could get back to, I mean, he could finish as the RB1. I mean, I don't see, maybe with Richardson's rushing stats, but at least top 5. I mean, he can get back to where he was a few years ago.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that offense as a whole is just going to be a lot better with him healthy there.
Interesting spot for me here. I'm actually All right, I'm gonna get my first share of Drake London.
Oh my God.
So I like
Drake,
this.
huh?
This is I'm opening this draft with players I have not taken yet this year, but players I really do want to take. This is great.
Good pick. Sucks for me, but good pick.
You love the Drake, huh? This year, Matt?
Well, I'm a big Cousins show, and just knowing how he throws the rock, could get some Jefferson vibes from London. I mean, he's the physical prototype. Slightly bigger build, but I mean, the guy had almost no catchable targets compared to Jefferson last year. So when he was healthy, of course. So yeah, that's definitely a guy I was eyeing up. Now that Anthony swooped that from me, do I want to go wide receiver to start? Or do I want to take the big dog up in Baltimore? I think I'm going with Derrick Henry here for my RB1.
That was my other target was Henry. It was between Henry and London for me.
And
I thought you would have went A-chain, Anthony. I thought you were big A-chain guy.
I am not at that second round price tag.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, Henry, it's just in that Ravens offense, is so enticing. I mean, the guy's just going to feast at the goal line, you would think.
I feel like you're paying for Devin A-chain ceiling. And those few games early where he scored like 30 or 50 points, like he wasn't the same guy after that. Mostert's still there. They drafted another speedy running back. So like, I just don't know. And I love A-chan. Happy I have a dynasty. I don't know if you're drafting a running back in the second round, you think he could finish as a top 5 back. I don't think Achane can finish as a top 5 back.
Yeah, I think his value is severely inflated. I mean, I like A-Chain. The injuries worry me a little bit, but he's the perfect best ball player. But just at this price tag, it's just.
You're a big Jalen Wright guy too, right, Pete?
I do like Jalen Wright. I mean, considering he's around 2 injury-prone running backs in Mostert, and I mean, I don't know if you want to slap that tag on A-Chain already, but he did come down with a few different injuries last year. So I don't mind taking a swing on Wright later on in the draft either. They're going to use all 3. You know, that whole offense is everybody's going to get love there. They don't even, I was thinking about the other day. I don't know, and maybe one of you can. Can you name the tight end for the Dolphins off the top of your head? I don't even know who their tight end is.
Jonnu Smith. Yeah.
It is Jonnu. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to do anything there.
What do you guys think about taking Mahomes?
There's been a million tight ends that done shit there. So what's he get? And plus, he's done nothing anywhere he's been, pretty much. So
what do I think?
Well, if he was with Arthur Smith, then he might have been okay.
Big Sammy went.
It was between Mike Evans and Patrick Mahomes for me.
Wow, you took Mahomes.
Well, Anthony, you did a really good job gassing up Mahomes in these new look offense. And
Mahomes over Allen, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think
that's.
I mean, the guy's got wheels. Let's not kid ourselves. He can buy some yardage with the legs, and obviously with more weapons.
Mahomes over Allen hurts. I don't hate it, but I do think you could have waited to grab him.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are still not on Mahomes.
Well, you never know. Somebody could jump on him in this draft, but yeah, you most likely could have waited.
I thought about Hurts. Had a lot of exposure to him over the years. And in best ball, especially, it feels like Mahomes is always good for, a 30, 40 burger every couple weeks. And the old Mahomes. We didn't really see that much last year, but
it's coming back.
By the way, I want to say one thing. We had a conversation, I think a show last week or Monday, and we talked Neighbors and Metcalf. Neighbors went before Metcalf. I took Metcalf. Hoff took Neighbors the pick before. So I don't remember what side Hoff was on, but I am curious to remember how that conversation went because he did take Neighbors over Metcalf the pick before me. So
I think we were all on DK.
Yeah. I just took I took DK because I feel like he's been the one thing I could say about him is he's been an Iron Man. I mean, he doesn't miss games, and we expect that that offense will be better with Geno being healthy and with a better offensive coordinator at head coach. So we'll see. By the way, Jamie in the chat. What's up, Jamie? How you doing, man?
What's up?
Sorry,
Jamie?
we didn't. You're a little late here to the party. We would have got you in here. I saw you were on the
no, that's
the
good.
show earlier today
too. He would have kicked me out again, and then we would have drafted together. But that's all good either way. I wouldn't mind drafting with him again.
See, here's the thing, and I know Hoff does a lot of these drafts when you're talking about like strategy and. He might like DK Metcalf more, but if he already has 4 shares of DK Metcalf and 0 of Neighbors, it might be good. It's always good to draft other guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need variety,
especially with these type of things. You're playing volume.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're gonna get a lot of these entries. You want to mix it up a little bit. Of course, you're gonna have higher percentage of some guys than others, but you don't want to get too crazy.
Ooh.
Man, it was my Mahomes Kelsey stack just went out the window thanks to Hoff.
Listen, if he didn't take Kelsey, I was, but I'm happy going George Pickens. He's one of my most rostered players.
Really? Interesting. I feel like
George Pickens really nice. I like it.
I feel like I've been getting Travis Etienne everywhere. Every draft. I at the 4th round price tag, I really don't hate it. I think Anthony talked about it before, but I can see Etienne he's finished RB3 last year.
Yeah.
I could see him finishing in the top 5 again with that offensive line being better this year.
He's just the running back position after like the first 4 or 5 guys, it becomes a little bit. I don't know what the word is. Where I don't know how to value Etienne because he was so solid. Had a lot of ceiling for a lot of last season, then he disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's like, they brought in all this pass catching help. What is this offense going to look like? Are we going to get the better version of Trevor Lawrence where it can actually throw a football again?
A lot of it at running back last year had to do with, are you on the field every single week?
Yeah.
Honest to God. I mean, when you looked at the variances between the RB6 and I looked at points scored. I was looking at this a couple weeks ago. The difference between points scored from, running back like 6 to running back 12 was so minuscule. And when you look at total points scored on the year, by the time you get to like the fourth running back, there's been like 7 or 8 receivers in front of them on total points scored. It's just very hard to gauge the running backs, and there's not that big of a difference in points scored once you get past that first tier and a half.
Yeah, I think we get confused by that sometimes. Like, he was the RB4 and this guy was the RB14, but the difference in points
it's minuscule.
sometimes isn't much.
Yep.
Sometimes that's overstated. You really got to dive in and look at it. I took Josh Allen and Zay Flowers. I still love Zay Flowers. I see a second year even better for him. I don't see a slump from him. And then Josh Allen. Now the quarterbacks, I mean, I could wait and take Jordan Love all day. I mean, you got freaking Anthony Richardson you could take till he's gone actually already. Wow. So I'm glad taking Josh Allen, but I could wait and take Jordan Love. I like doing that as well.
Do you see this build by Squirt Card? Lamb, and then he got all Texans. Nico Diggs, Tank Dell, Stroud.
I've been seeing people do it. I've been seeing people do it on Twitter. I don't know if it's a trend, but I've seen that exact build by multiple fantasy analysts on Twitter that are pushing that out. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys hate it? Do you love it? I don't know.
In best ball only, I would not recommend it in any other format.
Yeah, of course.
But
at that
best
point,
ball,
we know he's probably going Dalton Schultz then. So, if you want Dalton Schultz at some point and he's close to you and it's getting close, I would probably pull the trigger.
Big believer in the Texans offense being able to do what they did last year. And I mean, they had Mixon, so you think that they should be more balanced in terms of,
So what, he went 4 deep? Is that what he did? On the Texans?
He went Lamb.
All 3 wideouts.
And then he painted the fucking Texans.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, I would do that with the Packers too. I would get Jordan Love and like 3 or 4 of their receivers. You could do that with Mahomes too. I don't mind that.
Where's Hoff's build here? Puka, Kyron, Neighbors, Kelsey, Cook. All right. Meanwhile, he's going to motherfuck the Rams all season, and these guys are going to crush it in fantasy.
That's the best way to do it, though. You're either happy with one side, either way you're happy. Either they suck and he's happy, or they win him a lot of money.
Oh my God, the receivers! What the fuck happened?
Yeah, they drop. Receivers are going very early, which means there's value on other positions. And this is, to me, this has happened the past few off seasons. And as we get closer to, August, running back ADP begins to adjust again because people start getting that running back fever. As much as the industry tries to make running backs don't matter, they matter.
Yeah.
I'm going back to running back here. Kenny or Aaron? Let's go Aaron. I took Aaron Jones and I took Ladd McConkey.
The Lad.
I like Ladd. I think he's going kind of high here. I mean, he's very, very popular, but again, Herbert, he seems like he could be the number 1 guy. Now, there was just talk about the GM talking about Quentin Johnson, and he's going to explode off the map. I did like Quentin Johnson a lot last year coming out of TCU. He struggled. The early reports were right that, freaking Josh Palmer was playing over him most of the year. He struggled. He looked very raw. Can he bounce back in his second year? We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of questions with that still. So I think Ladd has a very good opportunity to be the top guy there. We'll see.
Fuck. I just got sniped on Calvin Ridley. That was my next pick. I have him. I have him everywhere, man. I'll die on the sword, man. I don't.
With Willie Fubu's throwing the ball. Actually, Mason Rudolph could step in there. I think that's their best bet.
I settled with Kenneth Walker. Don't hate on Will Levis, man. That offense is going to be good, man. I'm trying to get pieces.
I got to see it from Will Levis. I got to see it from the guy. I mean,
we saw it in his rookie debut, and that was kind of the peak.
Listen, I trust.
He did look good in that game. If I
trust the coach,
that's what he could do.
I mean, they surrounded. Look what they brought in. They brought in Tony Pollard. They brought in a stud at tackle.
Yeah, but
They brought in
Pollard
a
didn't
better
look good in
coach.
Dallas. Pollard,
Yeah, but
wasn't
that was off the surgery, though. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
assume
but-
that, you know,
Yeah,
and he's
I don't know.
more of a
Maybe.
complimentary back. Tajay Spears can spell him. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Matt's boy Chig is there.
The thing is, you got Boyd there.
That's
You
Steve's
got
boy, bro.
Hopkins.
Oh, your boy Chig is there, Steve. Sorry.
Chig.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to use Chig the right way.
No,
If you just throw it to Chig like 15 times a
Conquer.
game, he's going off. I'll tell you
Steve,
that right now.
Steve was on Rashid Shaheed before anybody. I will say
Oh
that.
yeah, I had never even heard that name until Steve was here.
Yeah, you know why I was on him? Because I play in a league where you get points for return yards.
Hmm.
So I picked him up like like a sleeper pick, and he like killed it. And he like won me a Super Bowl. So ever since then, I love the guy.
But I think he could has a legit a chance of doing something this year. He'll be what, number 2 in that offense, and then with Perry as a 3. Obviously, Olave is just a matter of Derek Carr.
Yeah, and he's he's not small. He's like 6'2".
Yeah.
He's fast as hell. He could he's a pretty decent route runner. So yeah, I mean I like him. It's Olave and him. You're right. I mean we'll see what Carr can do. Carr's sometimes he's 1 touchdown, 180 yards, and sometimes he could go off for 275, 300, and throw 2-3 touchdowns. You just never know what you're gonna get out of him.
Usually more the first.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, scorecard, the Texan stack, he took Keon Coleman. So he's got CeeDee Lamb, all 3 receivers on the Texans, and Stroud and Coleman. Oh, and he's up now. So Matt, I mean, you got to think. I mean, he's got 0 running backs. So if you like a running back, he's gonna. I would take. Oh no, he just went Montgomery.
Well, here's the thing. I have 3, so I think I'm good. I have Henry, Mixon, and Kamara.
Yeah.
So-
I meant later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Slick Willie has 0 running backs. Lucas has 0 running backs.
Damn, I was going to take
So-
Addison, my boy. That stinks.
I'm loving my running backs. Jonathan Jones Taylor.
I
this
went
guy
with
could
the
pop.
hero running back with Brees, and now I'm going to start painting it with running backs. I think I'm good with receiver. I got Pitts at tight end. I wouldn't mind adding another receiver for a 4th.
I need receivers,
Dude, Brees at 7. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've been getting a lot of Bijan in the back of the first, so I'm like, let me get Brees.
Brees is going like top 5 pretty much every single time. So you get him at 7.
You notice how people are fading Christian Watson super hard right now? Remember the hype last year?
Fucking Lucas, you prick.
Najee.
I mean, the problem with
Artie
Watson,
Smith's offense. There you go.
I guess, it's just like it's been a pattern. Here, people don't want to jump into that. Look at Will Fuller. I mean, the guy,
Right.
when he was out in the field, he killed it, but his hammy was just a constant issue. Guy pulled his hammy every 3 games. And then he finally went off, and I traded for him in Dynasty, and then he got a PED suspension. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we've never heard from him since. So
Who?
Will Fuller.
yeah, we'll
Oh, yeah.
All right, listen. Steve, are you going to take another quarterback? Are you going to take a quarterback here in your
No, I'm
next
not
2
taking
back-to-back?
I'm not
All right, so I'm taking a risk here. I took Ferguson because I want to stack him with Dak on the way back. I mean, outside of Brandon Cooks, and Anthony would know best, but what other receiver do they have? I don't know that room very well. I mean, they have that Jalen Tolbert, right? I mean,
Yeah, Tolbert's pretty good.
he's okay, right? But
Yeah.
and then their running backs
Christian.
are okay. I feel like Ferguson's got to have a decent year. I mean, he's got to be the
I like-
receiver 3.
Dak
Or
has
at
always
worst.
supported these tight ends.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about Ferguson on the RotoWire show with Jim today.
Oh, really?
How, that offense did not change this offseason. The only change was moving off of Gallup. So maybe that 3 role is going to be mostly because last year the 3 was Turpin, Gallup, and Tolbert. Tolbert started coming on. So I think Tolbert takes a stranglehold. They mix in, Kyvon Turpin a little bit. But this should be a 90 to 100 plus target season for Ferguson.
Yeah, I could see it. I secured the Dak and Ferguson stack, so I'm happy about that. I just think that offense is going to throw the football a fuck ton next year. And I mean, last year,
I was just going to ask you, what do you think about Prescott's attempts this year? Probably over last year, right?
I mean, they were 8th in the league last year for passing attempts at 614, which was only 20 off from the league high, which was the Commanders at 636. So, yeah, I mean, I got to think Dak's going to fucking air it out. I mean, they didn't even – I mean, look, Zeke, I'm not throwing shade at him. I think he's going to be a valuable piece there, but I don't know. I think they're going to have to throw the football.
Yeah, I agree. And look at Dak's numbers last year: 4,500, 36 touchdowns,
good,
9 picks, 69%. That's pretty.
Hey, listen, people forget Dak was in the MVP conversation at one point
right back.
last year.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to win that, but you're right. I mean, at one point he was, he had a chance to nail it down.
Yeah,
and then Lamar, I think he spit all over the Dolphins, and
that was what happened. That was it. I remember seeing a crazy bet on Brock Purdy to win MVP, and the guy that had the slip could have won so much money, and he sold the slip like before they played the Ravens and got smashed, and he sold the slip for like over $100,000.
Wow,
and
nice.
It was a loser. So
yeah.
Matt, Rashee Rice, nice pick. And your boy Scorecard took Mostert behind you.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for a little bit of stack action. Figured that was a good time to pounce.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, I bet Allen for MVP last year. I had good odds, and it was just he would have won it. I think he had a really good chance. But Lamar again, that game was like a perfect rating against the Dolphins. It was like no chance.
It wasn't really like that was the game that sealed it. But up until that point, there wasn't really any runaway candidate for MVP. I
really thought that I thought fucking Allen should have won it. I just think
I agree.
They started off the season so bad that
people just couldn't get the
taste. Yeah, people just couldn't get the taste out of their mouth because they just weren't that good.
Went on the heater down the stretch. I mean, he made
it was the whole narrative last year with the interceptions. I mean, it was just nonstop.
Which is such bullshit, dude. I don't care. The Josh Allen interceptions, like it's gonna come, but like, I mean,
a lot of them are punts because he throws them like 70 yards.
They're punts, but it's also like he doesn't have a lot of weapons there. I mean, he didn't have a ton to work with, and honestly, the amount of touchdowns that he scores, his turnover to touchdown ratio is not very bad. Even with
that people are calling him the modern day Brett Favre.
Yeah, it's a lazy take.
Who? Josh Allen. There's a lot of haters out there for sure.
I would take Josh Allen on my team in a heartbeat, man.
Well, that's why I'm so pissed because I wanted the Jets to take him over Darnold, and ever since then, I've fucking been very unhappy.
The Jets jetted. You're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wanted Ed Reed. There was a lot.
Did you ever hear the story that the Broncos offered like the Jets like 2 or 3 first-round picks or something crazy to move up because they wanted Darnold, I think, and the Jets said no. Yeah. And on top of it, the Josh Allen played like an hour or 2 away from Denver, and Denver didn't even send scouts out there to go look at him. They just settled for fucking, I don't know if it was Flacco that year or Case Keenum. I don't remember who it was that year. They took Bradley Chubb, but they settled on their quarterback. I think it was Case Keenum that year or Flacco.
They have Drew Lock at that point, or was that before that?
Osweiler? I don't know.
No. Locke was
Rock
like
the jock.
I think Locke was 2018, 2019. Yeah. So I think I think Allen was a year or 2 before that.
Osweiler. God, didn't he make like $100 million? Didn't he make some stupid amount of money?
Him and Glennon both got paid.
A load of money.
And then Osweiler was traded.
Because they're tall, right? Because they're like 6'10". Yeah.
Well, Elway loves his tall fucking.
Didn't Osweiler get traded and they had somebody? I think Denver ate the contract.
No. So what happened was
it
was the Browns. The Browns had like fucking, and this was years ago. So like the salary cap wasn't that high, as high as it is now. And the Browns had like 90 to 100 million in cap space, and they pretty much took the salary dump for draft picks for Osweiler.
Yeah. So Jamie's asking who has the best team.
I'm getting sniped left and right. Both Bills receivers are gone. Nick Chubb just went.
I just took Chubb.
Talk amongst yourselves. I got to pick now.
Um,
You bastards.
I was liking my team. I was going for the Caleb Williams stack, and somebody sniped me. But I don't have a quarterback yet, but I certainly like my team. I don't know if it's the best on the board.
It's hard to be objective here when you're drafting.
Yeah.
I like Steve's team outside of Watson and Williams. I understand why. Even Zay Flowers, I think he's more high floor than high ceiling, but the core of your team's really strong. And Ladd McConkey, I try to leave almost every draft. I am super bullish on McConkey. I think he finishes number 2 behind Harrison when it comes to rookie receivers. I think he's the second best rookie receiver.
This is your Jordan Addison this year, basically.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he did play with the Natty champions for a couple of years down in Georgia, so he's got the winning pedigree as well.
I'm just pissed. I like my team. I'm just pissed I didn't get an Allen stack. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Your boy Shakir's off the board.
MVS.
Yeah, they're both gone.
You can draft MVS for the stack.
Maybe a little Mac Hollins or MVS.
I like Mac Hollins. I think he's a good receiver. I love Mac Hollins, actually.
You don't have to be a good fantasy receiver to be a good receiver, man. People don't understand it. He's a good willing blocker. He's tough, decent body. He's never going to put up big numbers, but he's a solid player.
I always talk about this, but I was looking at his stats like 2 years ago. He ran the most post routes in the league. It was like 89 post routes, and he had like 3 targets and 1 catch.
Jeez.
Fucking just running laps out there. But I mean, he could make some plays for them. I mean, I agree. I think he's, like you said, he's better NFL player than fantasy player.
I got auto drafted Jameson. Fuck.
I almost got auto drafted. I got Lawrence last second to get my stack.
Fuck.
Nothing like an auto draft.
I don't mind it.
Go ahead.
I don't mind Jameson. There was a running back I was on.
There's Zeke.
Zeke or actually Brown from Cincy. That's why it took me so long. I was going back and forth between Brown and Zeke.
Hey, I'm the one.
There you go, man. You take Zeke and Chubb, and Zeke gives you a Chubb as your fantasy name. By the way, P, I hate you stealing Chubb from me, but he's a masterful value. What round was that? 9?
Took him at the 105. So it's slightly above ADP. He's ADP is about 108.
Little run on running backs right there. Gus Edwards, Chase Brown, Tajay.
My wide receiver room is awful. I mean, not awful. I mean, I have Ayuk, Kirk, and Metcalf, but I'm pretty stacked everywhere else.
I mean, that's ideal for best ball though, because those guys can go nuclear at any point.
You know what? I'm trying to go with teams that I think are going to throw the football a lot. I think the Jags will. I think Seattle switches a little bit more and becomes more pass centric. I'm a little worried about San Fran with Ayuk. I love Ayuk, but at 16th pick with a team that threw the ball one of the lowest in the NFL, they threw the ball the least amount of times in the NFL at 491, which is like almost 200 off from the highest. So that's the only thing that scares me, man.
Yeah, it's a crowded room. There's a lot of talent there.
A lot of talent.
It's
a lot of talent, and they don't throw the ball a ton.
No, if Ayuk was on, the Chiefs or something, he'd just be going ape shit.
I wish. I have him in Dynasty, so that'd be great.
But it looks like he's sticking around in San Francisco.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks like it for now, at least.
And Cousins falls to me to give me the tri-stack right now of London, Cousins.
I had him in my queue for later. Yeah, there you go.
Got the Falcons stack. Nice.
I might not be done. There's one more. I want to match the Texans guy.
You want Mooney, huh?
I want Mooney. Quarterback here.
I knew it. There's one more.
They also have Rondale Moore, but I don't like him.
You took Pitts? I thought you took Mooney. You took Pitts, you said?
Yeah.
Pitts I had Pitts earlier as well in my queue until you sniped him.
Pitts can, this might be the year. If it doesn't happen for Kyle Pitts this year, it's never happening.
Right. Correct. I mean, he hasn't had a great quarterback until now. So
I'm so over the Kyle Pitts hype. I ain't getting.
But he hasn't had a quarterback.
I know. The problem with him is that he doesn't fit. He didn't fit that system that requires a blocking tight end. Arthur Smith's, it didn't make any sense. Like, that's why the Falcons draft pick, like their selections. I mean, they took a running back top 5 last year. They took a tight end in the top 10, which again, Pitts was great. And then you go out and you spend a top 10 pick on a backup quarterback. Like, I don't fucking get it. I mean, I don't know. Just does make.
I get it. I like as it settles in me. I back it more and more.
Stop. Come on.
I'll say it again. If they play like I think they're going to play with Kirk Cousins, they're not going to be in the top 10 anymore. Which means who's going to be their next quarterback? They're essentially made that move, and if Penix works out, then they're set for the future.
Yeah, but if they fall short in a bad NFC, let's be real. The NFC is not the AFC. I mean, Kirk Cousins is
obviously it's the NFC.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is probably what? I mean, top 5 quarterback in the NFC minimum, right? I mean, what would you? Okay, so you have a top 5 quarterback in the NFC, and the conference is pretty wide open outside of the 49ers, I would say, and maybe the Eagles. I mean, if they fall short, you're going to say, wow, imagine they had an extra wide receiver like a Dunze, because Drake London's just not the only guy. I mean, Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, these are decent guys, but I mean, are they?
I think it all comes down.
I guess Bijan and Pitts, they're dog shit.
I get it, but that defense.
Maybe they didn't like a Dunze though. Maybe they think a Dunze is overrated. Maybe
they had the ability to get the best defensive player on the board. They were calling to trade up with them. They could have traded back and got more players to help them win now. They take a top 10 selection on a win now team that's not going to help them this year. And if you say, well, if Cousins gets hurt, they have one of the better backup quarterbacks. We don't know that. We don't know that.
That is not part of my narrative.
No, I know. I'm just saying some people are saying that, and we really don't know if that's like most teams in the NFL, if your starting quarterback goes down, maybe 5, you can name 5 that have a chance to still be competitive. That's it. Right. So I'm not banking on the fact that they took a top 10 quarterback and the rookie could step in if Cousins gets hurt.
I had a mindset with these, they could have had the best defender on the board. The fact that no defensive player went off to mid-draft, that tells me maybe nobody in the league thought there was an elite defender in this draft. So
and maybe not. But then at that point, I'd rather trade back and accumulate talent. I don't know. I don't love the move, to be honest.
I don't love it, but I think it makes sense.
If they fall short this year, we're going to rack our brains and say, well, what if the Falcons their interior defense was awful? What if they took what's his face from Tennessee?
Fall short of what?
Fall short of maybe even making it out of the first round of the playoffs. I mean, you got to assume they're going to make the playoffs, but
making the playoffs is a step forward.
I guess it's a step forward.
For them to fall off, they have to win 5 games.
But then we're talking about building. If you're talking step forward for a win now team, you paid Cousins because you assume he's going to help you now. If you're saying a step forward, all right, well, then he's 1 year into his deal. You can get rid of him after 2 at this point. And then if your contingency plan is to bring in what's his face at quarterback, Penix, and bring him in his 3rd year, well, you're kind of starting over because it's the first year he's going to start, and you're going to have to pay all these guys like Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. You're going to have to pay all these guys. So your window is now, and I hate saying that because I don't think the window shuts like people talk about, but Kirk Cousins is not a young quarterback. So the window shuts, and then you got to hope that Penix steps up. And if Penix has a bad year and they do end up being, say, a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, and Penix has 1 bad year, and there's a new GM that probably comes in, is he going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to stick with Penix? No, he's going to go get his guy.
Or the other side of it is Kirk Cousins isn't a young quarterback and Michael Penix is good. And then when it
yes,
comes time to pay Kirk Cousins in 2-3 years, they can say, you know what, Kirk, you're 39 years old. We're not going to give you what you want, and we have our future. They're not going to be in an Aaron, like, you know what I mean? They're not going to be held hostage.
It's not. Listen,
That's the upside.
I don't want to say it as like, hey, this is a knock on Michael Penix's ability to be a quarterback. I think he can be a good quarterback. He was the best thrower probably of the football in this draft. I mean, he had some concerns elsewise, but when it came to arm talent, he was the best quarterback. But I think Terry Fontenot, the GM there, was on the hot seat last year, right? Like he's on the hot seat this year if they don't work out. So you bring in a new GM. Is he going to want to be handcuffed to say, well, they took a top 10 pick on a quarterback that he may never see the field, or he may get one season and they say, well, it's not good enough. We're a top 5, top 10 pick. Let's go get Archie Manning or one of these guys that come out. My thing is, I think the GM may not even survive by the time he gets on the field.
It's risky as shit. It's a risky ass move.
Yeah.
But it depends on how much they believe in Penix, and obviously they love the freaking guy. So we'll see. I mean, we don't really know. I agree. I think it was a bad move. I think you build for what Cousins and try to, get to a Super Bowl. That's the whole goal. But I mean, it could end up working out for them in the long. But based on the philosophy of what they did, bringing Cousins, you would expect them to go other spots.
Yeah, like if they went out and spent a draft pick on Spencer Rattler in a later round, I would have said that's a great move, right? I would have thought that was an awesome move. But
it kind of contradicts what they did a little bit with Cousins.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling as well.
But I think maybe Penix is the best quarterback in this draft, and they end up looking good on the other side.
I mean, people were salivating for Penix after he shredded Texas in that semifinal, and then.
Oh my God!
Got to the
I was like, this guy is gonna be. I was suspicious.
You were definitely one of them. Yeah,
I was suspicious. And then after that text came, like, holy shit, he's making some legit fucking throws, moving around the pocket, crazy, avoiding the rush. And then against Michigan, they just destroyed him. And that's that's what he's gonna see in the NFL mostly. So I don't know. I mean, if you protect him though, he could be nice. But again, I generally agree that I don't agree with the Falcons did.
Yeah.
All I know is that you could have gotten Penix 65-1 at number 8 and on certain sports books. That would have been a nice hit.
That was crazy.
But let's see here. 5 running backs, 5 wideouts, 2 tights. Do you guys have 2 quarterbacks yet?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Should probably
you gotta take JJ.
I could.
Sam Darnold's backup.
You got 3 seconds.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You love Sam Darnold.
Right, well, you got Drake May.
That's what I was trying to go for. I wanted him. That worked out well.
Look at that. There you go.
The Vikings were linked to Drake May, and I think we probably would have taken him if he was on the board still. Just because
they tried to. They said they offered like 3 first-round picks to move up, didn't they?
Oh, I didn't hear that. No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they reported that the Vikings, it was them and the Giants, and I think the Vikings offered 3. It was their 11, their 20 something, and then a second, their first next year, I think was what it was offered.
Okay.
And the Pats turned them down.
Yeah, I mean, this McCarthy thing is really polarizing. People either think he's going to suck, or I mean, I don't know. I'm into it. We'll see. He didn't have to do a whole lot in college. That doesn't mean he's not going to be good in the NFL, but maybe it's because he looks like he's in a boy band. I don't know.
He's in a good situation with Darnold. Darnold takes the pressure off.
He's got a good coach too, and he's got really good receivers. So
yeah,
he's definitely in a really good situation. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I think he's definitely got the potential. We'll see. Those Michigan quarterbacks. I mean, Brady,
Tom Brady,
Elvis,
Chad Henne.
Chad Henne. There you go.
Yeah, he's stepped in for Mahomes, made some clutch throws, but yeah, I mean, just the argument that he's just a quarterback that excels at handing the ball off is just, it's lazy.
What's Ray Davis going to do for the Bills?
I like Ray Davis.
I just took him because I wanted at least one
Ray Davis.
He should feast, man.
I don't know
in certain spots,
but they
when given opportunities near the goal line.
Brought in. Well, let me do my pick, and I'll give you my Ray Davis spiel. I got only one tight end. Jeez.
I got fucked. I was gonna take Tyron Tracy. He just went before you.
You love Tyron Tracy.
So
You
I
love
do.
Tracy and Vidal, right? Those are the two guys.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I got to look at those guys still. I really haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah.
Last offseason, Steve, Bills brought in who? Damian Harris,
Yeah,
Latavius Murray. They tried Fournette. They want a bigger bodied running back. I think Ray Davis is going to fill that role that none of these other guys, like it had to be Murray because Damian Harris was hurt. But Ray Davis, I don't know if they want, like everybody's like all over James Cook. I think last year was the opportunity for James Cook to take over that backfield, and he didn't do it. Like I don't think
he gives them a different element, though. Obviously,
oh yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Ray Davis, 5'10", 260 or 5'8", 216. Yeah, I mean Murray looked good.
He's
at
a
times,
bruiser, though. He is a bruiser. He is a
Shit,
bruiser.
Yeah, Murray looked good at times. But yeah, what is he, 35 years old?
Murray's so old, yeah. A lot of
I
trouble.
didn't know if they brought him back.
No.
And Damian Harris fucking retired. I had somebody.
No yawning in best ball.
I had some guy. I don't know. He might be listening. He sent me his roster. He was like, "How do you think I did?" He just drafted a startup for Dynasty, and I see Damian Harris on his team. I go, "Well, you got fucking Damian Harris. I mean, he's fucking retired." He was like, "Oh shit, I was on auto draft at that point." I was
It's
like,
like being in a workplace draft.
I got the Jets stack going. Rodgers, Big Mike, and Conklin.
Conk.
My backup quarterback.
I like that.
I like
Conky.
Conklin.
Wasn't Conky the robot from Pee Wee's Playhouse?
I don't know if that was Conky.
Yeah,
but-
that reference is over my
It was
head.
Conky.
Oh, that was his name?
I think so. Conky P. Yeah. Conky
There's
was
a
the
drug
robot.
dealer I knew named Conky.
My aunt bought me like a tape when I was like 9-10 years old of Pee Wee's Playhouse, and me and my friend used to just fucking watch these certain parts and just laugh our asses off. And it was so fun.
Pee Wee Playhouse, like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, Pee Wee's. We had a show called Pee Wee's Playhouse
Okay,
back in the 90s.
makes sense.
Lawrence Fishburne was on it.
You fucked me, by the way. You took. I wanted Wandale. You took him right before.
Yeah, I like one.
That's a good best ball candidate right there for sure. I mean,
Well, there's still another guy that I like out there, DeMarcus.
Mm.
He looked good.
Marcus
He was good for
Robinson?
the Rams
Yep.
last year.
Yep.
And
damn.
they signed him back, and I think he's going to be another piece. Man, he really, really performed.
He's
there
their
nicely.
3.
Yeah, for best ball, I think it's very solid,
There we
especially
go.
this late.
Holy shit.
Conky and Pee Wee.
That's a fit right there.
Jamie, we're in the 16th round, man. 16th round. We're almost done here.
We're grinding out these picks now.
Pee Wee fucking man.
What did I have up on there? I put some old wrestling picture up on yesterday's thing.
Oh yeah.
Now that I know how to use StreamYard, I'm fucking around with it.
Yeah, good. Can you get the sound effects in there too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, nice.
Now we got the face-off bets with Anthony Servino on the skin. Are you gonna keep that up, Anthony?
What?
You have it says the Faceoff Sports Network bets. Anthony Servino.
That's the
I was-
preview.
Oh, is it up?
I was
I
trying to
have the
give.
wrong
I
thing?
was trying to give like a subtle, like
Oh.
so maybe you realize.
Well, I don't need that. I'm deleting that. It looks like shit. I didn't make that. Somebody else made it who's no longer here.
Speaking of, are we
Shit.
hopping back into that anytime soon? Or are we still on? I guess after your vacation, right?
After my vacation.
Okay. One more week layaway.
I'm taking after this.
I'm
I
still
got a hot-
betting, but
No,
I got a hot day with two 70-year-olds going to the movies. Can't wait.
grandma's boy.
yeah, I was gonna say
My
that was a great move,
roommates.
too.
They're crazy.
Grandmas. I got two grandmas. I got 3 kids, and I'm getting a dog next week as well. My
What
brother's
kind of dog?
brother's
Oh, you were waiting on the dog. I thought you said.
terrier. No, my brother's going to Cali, so he's bringing his dog over. I'm a
Nice.
terrier, I think. That's a small dog.
Like a-
Jack,
like a
Russell,
small
like a Jack
little-
Russell Terrier.
yeah,
Those are
something like
fun.
that.
That'll
His
be
name's
fun.
Coco.
I
Or
my
the
cat. I have,
hair
my cat. I
name.
have a Coco cat. Black cat
Oh, nice.
named Coco.
Ah, nice. So they got two Cocos then.
I have a Coco, a Kai, and a dog, and a Pomeranian's Roman.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are you into Roman Wilson?
Favorite.
Take a little Roman Wilson because of that?
Roman Wilson.
Yeah,
Hey, he's the number 2 receiver there, probably.
Pete
Yeah.
loves Roman Wilson.
I liked him coming out of college. I mean, I don't know with Russ how good he'll be for fantasy, but
Right.
Russ didn't really support players that. I mean, Roman Wilson could take the top off the defense, but he didn't really support intermediate game. And
Look who's there. Look who's there. Oh no. Okay. Well,
DeMarcus?
no, I was going to take Chig, but I'll take DeMarcus is fine. I ran out of time.
Good pick.
So I want to get on the Chig train. Get Chiggy with it.
I like Brian Robinson in the 10th round. I think that's solid.
yeah, his stock is plummeted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
The
he's
10th?
people don't like him. People don't like Brian Robinson.
But Eckler's not going to be the guy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean Brian Robinson had some monster games down the stretch.
Yeah, and I took Leggett 12, and I took Troy Franklin, who I like a lot. I think I like Troy Franklin. So, and I think Bo Nix, man, it's very interesting. He could really be a good fit for the Broncos. The more I watch Bo Nix, the more I like him.
You don't got to butter me up.
I was
I'm
going to say
serious.
Pete's rocked right now. He's rock
Yeah,
hard.
man. I just think I think it makes sense. It's like a total Peyton quarterback. Seems like
He is honestly. I mean, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I think he fits what they want to do, and I don't know how much growing pain there'll be. I mean, he learned like 4 different offenses in his college career, playbooks wise. So I think he'll be able to step in pretty early. And he was probably the best quarterback at the line of scrimmage when it came to just adjustments and audibles and just pre-snap motion and all that. He was probably the best quarterback in the draft. I mean, he just didn't have the arm talent. And people kind of felt like he was a broken toy. I mean, he came from another school. He's been in the league for a while, 24. So I think that's probably why people shied away from him. I'm going to take Isaac Guerendo, the San Fran running back. I mean, and Foreman went behind me because I was hoping I could get Foreman to stack with Chubb. But I don't know. Guerendo is at this point in the draft. I mean, with
upside.
McCaffrey, he stayed healthy. And I don't know. I mean, are they going to run him into they may run him into the ground again like last year, but they may want to save McCaffrey for a playoff push and maybe don't use him as much as they have the last 2 seasons. So
I'm taking Tucker Kraft. I think he's better than Musgrave.
I think he is too.
So we'll see if that plays out during the year. Maybe he ends up being the guy there in a great offense.
By the way, Jamie said, who's taking my boy Roshan this round? Well, I heard Steve is a big Roshan fan, right?
I do like Roshan, but he's gone. I don't even see him.
Is he?
Yeah, he's gone. Jamie sent that in a couple minutes ago, so probably he might have went a round or 2 ago.
Shit, I got auto pick. My last pick. Who the hell did I get?
Adam Thielen.
Oh,
Not bad.
Hooked on a feeling.
I mean,
It's good.
that's
spot
monster
there.
weeks
That's
last
horrible.
year.
Yeah, he
That's
really
some
did.
monster weeks last year.
More towards the beginning.
He's
He
like
kinda
72 years old at
disappeared
this
at
point.
the
I
end.
mean,
Yeah, so he'll give you some pop in the last pick of the
that's
draft.
so
He'll give you some
boring,
pop,
man.
and
I
then
need some
he'll
upside.
fade
I need
out.
some youth. I need some.
Oh, you're
young guns.
you're being an ageist right now.
Yeah, come on.
I
I
appreciate that.
mean, come on, Steve.
I can't. I need something exciting. Well, I am taking 2 grannies out, so it makes sense.
Well, say
Thielen is my
I
last.
wonder, Hoff's one of the biggest Thielen fans. I wonder if he would
really
be
is.
okay trading Brandon Ayuk or Debo for Thielen. I think he'd be okay with that.
pick. You'd probably trade Debo.
Seems like a fair trade for sure.
I took Anthony's boy Rondell Moore, who he absolutely hates, but I'm taking him this
I
late.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, the jack of all trades player.
Yeah, I don't hate Rondell Moore. I mean, he showed some flashes. I mean, he gets the targets. He just his problem
with
is
Cousins
he's not
throwing it
healthy.
could. Yeah, we could see a bit more upside with him.
I don't know. Darnell Mooney, people love him so much. I just don't see it. I think Rondell Moore could
I
be.
loved him 2 years ago.
I think he could be the favorite receiver for wide receiver 2 there over.
It's
Darnell.
like every time you watch Darnell Mooney, like he's either hurt or he's running like a double move, like burning a guy, and like
Yeah.
Fields would either like
But he has a
just
quarterback.
overthrow it or just like or like Mooney would not track it the right way. Just like they couldn't connect there at the end.
Yeah,
But
I've never
yeah,
been
I
a huge
agree.
Mooney guy.
Cousins with him I think it's an interesting combination.
Yeah.
Damn, Hoff still sniping me in the very last round. Of course he is.
Russ.
Tyler Boyd.
Anthony with Russ.
Yeah, I have Pickens, so I wanted to go for the stack.
All right.
The miss was me missing out on Caleb Williams. I had no shares of him. I had DJ Moore. I wanted that stack, but I don't mind. Russ had 26 touchdown passes. He was like a wide receiver. He was a quarterback 12 with fantasy points. Per game.
I was gonna say he was up there in fantasy points per game. I was surprised you didn't go with Michael Penix.
Well, oh, shut up.
I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, my team is not bad.
Shit.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. We're in quite a few of these, and we're going to do more, and might have to tally these up and see who finishes where, and kind of come up with a percentage. And be fun.
Yeah, maybe do a pizza bet on it.
Another pizza bet. There you go.
We need Hoff to make a pizza bet graphic and a sound. Maybe like remember the Noid?
No.
The Domino's Noid?
No, I don't remember that.
God, me and Steve are old as shit then.
I was say you're aging yourself with some
Well,
of these
Steve
references.
didn't say that he remembered.
Steve,
No,
do you
Steve,
I
really?
I think I know. Like, if you're talking about a sound.
The Noid?
No, I don't remember.
I'm gonna
Yell a little louder.
He's
I
annoyed you
probably.
remember that
Oh, the little fucking guy. Yeah. I remember that thing.
The
Oh,
Noid.
the little fucking
Yeah.
guy.
The little rabbit looking thing.
Yeah, see? They made a Nintendo game from it too.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
I
like
vaguely
Domino's pizza, man.
remember that, but
Here, I'm gonna pull up
um,
Mr. Noid now.
we used to have. I used to have a
That's
Domino's.
creepy
by-
looking.
I used to have
That
a
guy's
Domino's
creepy.
by me. Everything was closed. It
recognize
was like
that.
before Grubhub and everything. Everything was closed. It'd be like Christmas Eve or like New Year's Eve. Everything was closed. It'd be like 12:30 at night. You could order Domino's from these people. It was like the best thing ever because nothing else would deliver at that point. Basically,
That's
back then
right.
it was like Domino's and Chinese food. You didn't have all these options
Yeah.
that you have today.
No, you got the Grubhub and shit.
Yeah, you got everything under the sun now. That's the problem. You got fucking everything at your disposal.
It's too convenient, some might say.
But another draft in the books, guys. What do you think of your teams before we wrap up?
Let me go first because
Hold on,
I gotta
let's
roll
get to
out
the
here.
Facebook. All right, you do that, and then we'll get to Jason's Facebook question. You tell us about your team, then we'll get to the question.
All right, let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, Jason's gonna have to stay here and wait. The suspense is gonna kill him.
All right, so I got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 8 receivers, 3 tight ends. Josh Allen, Rodgers, Saquon Taylor, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, and Ray Davis. I like my running backs. My receivers, we'll see. Zay Flowers, Ladd, McConkey, Christian Watson, Mike Williams, Xavier Legette, who I'm really high on, Troy Franklin. Dale going to get a lot of targets there in New York. Adam Thielen was the granny pick. I'm taking out 2 grannies for the movies, so it's the theme of the show. TJ Hockenson, Conklin, and Kraft. Hopefully Hawkinson's back by week 4. We're ready to roll, and he could bust out. But I like Tucky Kraft as well.
Nice.
I like it.
Matt.
Yeah, I ended up with more running backs than receivers, so I wasn't really planning on doing that. But we got Mahomes and May for the QBs, Henry, Mixon, Kamara. I like those 3 quite a bit. Spears, Marshawn Lloyd, the rookie in Green Bay. I like his upside. Chuba Hubbard had a couple strong outings, even with Miles Sanders last season, who was supposed to be the RB1. And your boy Audric Estime, Pete, I'm sure you feel some type of way about him coming out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Jersey
that was
guy again.
Yeah, that was 208, or sorry, pick 190. I like that value. Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Rashee Rice to get that Mahomes stack. We'll see how long Rashee's suspended for. I don't think it's going to be too long, despite himself kind of trying to get in the way of playing with his off-the-field antics. But Cortland Sutton, another Bronco. Jermaine Burton out of Alabama, rookie. Shown some really good stuff early on with Burrow. Obviously, we're not even into OTAs yet, but I've liked what I've seen from him. Demarcus Robinson, Steve touched on late in the draft, ended up with him. Don't mind that. And then Kittle, very much a best ball player. He's either giving you 40 or nothing. Schultz, and of course, the last pick of the draft had to go with my boy Chig.
I like it. I got to roll, boys.
All right.
I got to take the grannies out, but good show. Good
Enjoy the movies, man.
Let's get to Jason's question real quick. Which rookie wide receiver do we think is going to produce the most in fantasy?
I hate going with the obvious answer, but I'll say Marvin Harrison. Clear pathway to just being the guy there. I think he opens up a lot for Trey McBride in that offense. He's just going to be a freak. He's going to get quality targets. You could go Neighbors, but he's got a clear pathway and not a lot of competition either. But clear better quarterback with Kyler. So I think Harrison. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't know. I think he gets 140 to 150 targets year one. That's my prediction for him. So,
yeah, I think Marvin Harrison he should be the number one most productive rookie wide receiver for obvious reasons. But, since I'm going to go with the second one too, because I think that's when the conversation's to be had. And I said it earlier in the show. I think Ladd McConkey is going to surprise a lot of people. I get people are kind of down on the Chargers. Greg Roman, Harbaugh, they're going to run the football, but this is going to be a bad defense, which means they're going to have to throw the ball more than run it to stay into games. And there's not a lot of competition for targets. So like Ladd McConkey realistically could be a target monster, a volume monster in that offense. And they're going to be, even let's say Ladd gets 120 targets and Neighbors gets 160. I'd rather have 120 targets from Justin Herbert than 160 from Daniel Jones.
That's fair. Matt?
Best rookie receiver? Yeah. I don't know, man. It's hard to argue. Is that what we're talking about? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably Marvin Harrison. Keep it pretty square here, but I don't see. Ladd could definitely do his thing, but I just think Marvin Harrison is. He's going into the perfect situation, and with his size and everything, I think it's just going to be a feast type situation for him. So.
That's going to do it. Now, I'm not sure, everybody. I'm going on vacation next week. I'm not sure if these guys are going to roll or not, but I'm sure they will, Hoff and will keep you updated on social media and let you know what's going on. But for sure, I will be back, and this show will be back. The Tuesday, I am back from my vacation going to Ibiza, Spain. So really looking forward to that. But this was another amazing mock draft or live draft Friday here on the Faceoff Sports Network. For Steve, who already left, Matt, Pete, and myself, this is the Faceoff Sports Network. If you want to win, you have to tune in. We'll see you next time.